is because of your mentality.
Right.
Being a loser is a mentality.
Mm-hmm.
You know, being a loser is accepting anything that's not your best effort.
Right.
Being a loser is making excuses for yourself, which is our next topic. Excuses.
That's good. That's good. Nice segue, man. I
like
like that. I like that. I like that. That was good.
Shout out to Mo. He got us with a little our mini teleprompter.
Right.
It's definitely a team effort. But yeah, what? First of all, when I say the word excuse, what does that mean to you?
To me, an excuse is nothing but a justification. One thing that one of my somebody who has an impact in my life, you know, one of my mentors says, he says an excuse is a skin of a reason stuffed with a lie. And at the end of the day, that's what I believe. Because anything that's an excuse, there was a way you could have figured it out. There was something more you could have did. You just was like, oh, well, this and this happened, and it was convenient for you not to do something, so you made an excuse, a justification. You justified why you didn't act on something. And that's like, and I've had people, you know, challenge me on that. Okay, what if this, and this happens? Like, I can have empathy for you. I can understand, like, okay, somebody died, this happened. You know, your kid got hit by a car, something. Like, you know, I understand your pain. But, like, when we talking about becoming successful, there are no excuses. Like, success doesn't care. Success doesn't have emotions. Success doesn't have any feelings. It's like you either were there or you weren't. You either did or you didn't. You know, I feel like, and this is my faith, but I feel like God made the world perfectly, you know, symmetrical, like right and wrong, left and right, you know, black and white. Like, it's very simple. So that's my thoughts on excuses. You either did or you didn't. Don't make an excuse. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No, I agree with that. Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel the same way. One situation or learning experience that I had when it comes to the topic of excuses was later in life when I was playing football at Atlantic College, and my coach, Coach Bean, he said something. He was just talking about the topic of excuses, but the way, so anyone that knows Bean, they know that he cares about his players, but his personality is hardcore, and he can say some shit to you that's like it could hit deep, right? Mm-hmm. So he pretty much, I'm gonna paraphrase because I don't want to misquote him, but it was a situation where he pretty much said, if you miss practice, you know the ramifications of missing practice. Right. If you're a starter, you're not starting. So if it was your grandmother's funeral and you miss practice to go to their funeral, that's your excuse for why you in that practice. And when he first said it, I'm taken back like, come on, you got to draw the line at some point. But when I really reflected on what he was saying, yeah,
that's success.
You got a decision to make. You either gonna decide to take your family or this team. Either one ain't right or wrong, but live with that decision. Don't make an excuse. Say, oh well, I should be starting, but I had to go to my grandmother's funeral.
That's cool.
No, it's just he just saying, look, you had an opportunity, A or B, man up, whatever you gonna take, live with it and roll with it. And that's something that I learned from that. I don't think everybody heard what he was saying because of how harsh he came off. Right. But you got to be able to kind of read through the lines a little bit. So that was a topic on excuses that it's just something I always kept with me.
Right. Because we'll all live at the level of our decision making. That's like that one quote that I told you. We're all born looking like our daddies, but we're gonna die looking like our decisions. You know what I mean? And that's it. You know what I mean? Like whether that's the whole thing that I always try and stress to people. Because my wife, she always tells me it's okay if she always says like I come off as an asshole. I don't know if we can say that on here, but she says that sometimes like, man, you didn't have to come off like such an asshole. And I said, well, I said it because I love him. Like, and that's where that saying comes, truth hurts. People don't want to hear that, but I tell people the truth because I feel like most of the people out in the world aren't going to tell you the truth because they care about your feelings. And that's one thing that I respected going back to the Crusaders is them coaches cared about us succeeding. They didn't care about how we felt at the time. They cared about us winning in life, so they told us the truth. Like, you need to get your hair right and get your dick out the dirt. You know what I mean? Saying stuff like that. Like I was a 8-year-old kid, 9-year-old kid, and you telling me that, now a parent would damn near sue somebody for saying that to their kid. You know? Yeah. But those type of words stuck with me, so when I'm feeling down and, life sucks, stuff like that, I hear words like that in my head. It's like, man, get in the game, man. Keep your head on the swivel. What you got your head down for? Let's go. You know what I mean? Because it's a choice. And that's the same thing with an excuse. And just like you said, Coach Beam, shout out Coach Beam. I never met him, but I've heard a lot about the man. So, from a lot of people I respect. And that's something that's big. Is you see that with anybody who succeeds in any area of life, whether it be business, sports, it's they made a decision to win. Out of 10,000 people, only one usually makes it to the league. You know what I mean? Why is that? It's because they were doing what everybody else wasn't. You know what I mean? It's because they chose to be successful in that. You know what I mean? And that's it.
So do you think that the person in the room that's the most successful is the one with the least amount of excuses?
Most definitely. Most definitely. And I also believe the most successful person in the room is the person who's failed the most as well. And that's the problem with a lot of our generation too. Because we've been groomed to be employees so much and just work jobs, we look at failure as a negative connotation. But anybody who's like an entrepreneur or a successful person, they're like, I had to fail to learn the lessons that brought me to where I'm at today. And that's like, if you looking like, faith-based, like me as a Christian, we call it a testimony. I had to go through something to be able to reach the people I'm able to reach today. You know what I mean? Because if everything was sunshine and rainbows, God couldn't really use me to, reach people in the hood. You know what I mean? Couldn't reach people who sold drugs, couldn't reach people who've been in jail. You know what I mean? But because I've been through certain things, it's like, okay, now you could feel this gap from here to there, and that's something that sticks with me a lot, is that I hear a lot of people our age and younger who are like, oh, I just don't want to fail. I'm like, no, fail. Just learn from your failure. That's like how they say, knowledge is power. I don't agree with that statement. It's not knowledge is power. It's applied, reflected upon knowledge is power. I got that from John Maxwell. Check him out.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, you definitely got to apply it. What you don't use, you lose.
That's right.
Yeah, so going from, kid coming out of Oakland, trying to figure things out the best way you can, hitting bumps in the road, and then now you're on the other side, you a family man,
right.
You have your own business, and you just do great things, and one thing about you is that everybody that comes in contact with you always got something good to say for the most part, or if they don't got something good to say, it's probably because they just wasn't ready for your realness,
right?
Like for real.
They say he an asshole. No.
He an asshole, but he a good asshole.
Right.
Yeah. So with that and what what's taking you, and now that you are a father, we brought this up on a previous episode, but the topic was being discussed by 3 guys that didn't have any kids. So I'm gonna ask you, as a father that's played football and knowing the damage that it could do on your body physically, would you still allow your son to play football, given all the other positive things about the sport that you've experienced?
Right. And I think I feel like it's loaded, the question in itself, because I take it in my mind in different segments, like playing football as how you guys discussed on that other podcast, as an outlet. Like, I agree, sports, athletic, being active in sports is something that's awesome to let go of steam, to relieve stress, stuff like that. And then going towards like me allowing him, for me, I'm going to give my son more of a choice than I feel I had, because I feel like growing up the way we grew up, it was more of this is going to be your only way to succeed in life. It's through sports, or, either you're going to play sports and go to school, or you're going to be out here in the streets with these fools. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so it wasn't really a different point of view than that. So from my perspective now, like, my son's going to have opportunities and a field of vision that I didn't. So he can have that choice of whether I want to play football or not. It's not so pressured on you, like, hey, this might be your only ticket. You better start now so you could be good when you get to high school, so you get in a good college and, possibly make it to the league. Yeah. You know what I mean? But as far as the other side of it too, of the physical aspect, like, you see all these documentaries and stuff coming out nowadays of the science behind the hit. You know what I mean? Like, where people's heads are getting jarred and people going crazy in their older age because their heads been shooken up so much. And going back to my earlier story about how when I used to hit the field, I was all head.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they used to give me that penalty because I'd even have my head down a lot of times. I could have broke my neck a few times. I'd I'd hit somebody with my head quicker than I hit them with my fist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I took that off the field, started headbutting people in fights. You know what I mean? Like, so, would I want my